are traveling on the north or southbound side right here, right at, I can't see where this is at. So let me see if this graphic can go away. There we go. Now this is taking forever to go on. You know what? Let's just, I-43 at Brown Deer Road, north and southbound lanes look great. And that's what you'll see across the interstate system. Here's a look. And a lot of crashes across the interstate system. This one that's causing the most backups. I-41, 894 on the westbound lanes. You can see traffic is stalling due to a crash. You have 2 lanes blocked in this area. You've got flashing lights and emergency crews on the left-hand side of the lanes. Also flashing lights on the right side as well. So not sure if there's another vehicle in the ditch there, but we are seeing a lot of incidents, slippery stretches across the roadway. There's also another crash. This is right on I-41, right near the Hampton Avenue exit on the southbound side, right lane blocked there. You've got the I-94 westbound entrance to Moreland Road, that entry ramp blocked due to a crash, and 2 more crashes that just popped up out on I-94 on the east and westbound lanes. So a lot of issues as you are traveling out the door. Please take it slow for your morning drive. But let's head out to our Elaine Rojas as you are traveling out and about. Here's a look at I-94 at 35th Street. I think this is a camera view I showed you last time. I'm going to have to make sure that the DOT can rotate this camera for us. So 35th Street, we're seeing more vehicles than what we saw at the start of the 5 a.m. hour. So things are looking like people are getting up, moving out and about. But as of right now, no crashes or delays across our interstate system. Everything is looking really good as you are heading out this morning. Keep in mind, out on I-43 for that north-south project, you're just down to 1 lane on the northbound side overnight tonight. From Mequon Road to Wisconsin State Highway 60. You'll also have additional construction.
This is TMJ4 News Today.
And good morning to you. Happy Friday. Thank you so much for waking up with us here at TMJ4 News Today. I'm Adriana Mendez here with our meteorologist, Marissa Willison, who's in the studio with a look at your full forecast. Marissa, how's the weather looking like for today and this weekend?
It's not looking that bad today. I will say we are still.
The mountain of snow covering cars crushed when a section of a parking garage collapsed at Bayshore Mall. The collapse happened at the structure on the corner of Silver Spring Drive and Port Washington Road in Glendale. As of last night, the area was fenced off and heaters were brought in to melt the snow just to get a better look at what's underneath.
We started to remove some of that snow, and we had some shifting of the structure that we were uncomfortable putting people under while that shifting was happening.
Now, the fire chief says they'll be back this morning to meet with the property owners. Those who parked at the garage likely won't be able to get their vehicles out for weeks or months. The collapse happened on the only ramp in that structure. Officials say that ramp will need to be rebuilt before vehicle owners can remove their cars. And Glendale's mayor says the structure was built between 2005 and 2006, making it less than 20 years old. Now we're working to find out when the structure was last inspected. We have filed an open records request and we'll bring you those details as soon as we get them. Well, the family of a 5-year-old Milwaukee boy who got a hold of a gun in his home and accidentally shot and killed himself earlier this week is sharing their story of grief. Our Taylor Lumpkin spoke with the family about their tragic loss in an effort to raise awareness about gun safety.
Love you. I love you too, baby.
Instead of planning activities to do with her son this weekend, Cassandra Castro is planning his funeral.
We're supposed to go before our children, not the other way around.
According to Milwaukee police, 5-year-old Elio Gonzalez died Tuesday night after he found a gun and accidentally shot himself inside a home near 29th and National. 2 men, a 58-year-old and a 35-year-old, were arrested for leaving a firearm unattended. The family declined to discuss the relationship they had with the individuals and why Elio and his older sister were with them.
I have so many questions, and I know I'll probably never get a straight answer.
Elio's aunt Raquel and sister Alea say he was your typical 5-year-old. He was funny, loved to make you laugh, and had a smile that could brighten up your day.
He was very silly. He had so much smiles in him.
He was your typical boy, always getting into some kind of mess somehow.
In just 3 days, MPD says 4 children have been impacted by guns and gun violence across Milwaukee. Elio now makes 5.
The violence has to stop, Milwaukee, for real. It's killing our future.
That's why Elio's family is sharing his story to stress the importance of gun safety and prevent others from losing a loved one.
It needs to be locked up. It needs to be in a safe. There needs to be gun locks.
A GoFundMe has also been created for the family in order to help with funeral costs as they prepare to lay Elio to rest in the coming days. You can find that link on our website at tmj4.com. In Milwaukee, Taylor Lumpkin, TMJ4 News.
Just an absolutely heartbreaking story, and you can pick up free gun locks at your local police district. The Office of Violence Prevention says they plan to offer free gun safety courses by this summer. Well, the first Republican presidential primary debate of the 2024 election cycle will be in August and right here in Milwaukee. The New York Times first reported the news and says the GOP wants candidates to sign a loyalty pledge to support the eventual nominee if they want to participate. So far, two major candidates have announced campaigns: former President Donald Trump and former South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley. Former House Speaker Paul Ryan shared his thoughts about Wisconsin being center stage in presidential politics.
Because the convention is here in Milwaukee, I think our issues that affect us as Wisconsinites will be front and center. And don't forget the fact that in this coming election, I'd say about 4 states are going to determine the next president: Arizona, Nevada, Wisconsin, and Georgia. You heard it here. Those are the 4 states that are going to really matter for the presidential election in 2024. It's one of the reasons why we've got the convention here in Wisconsin.
And Ryan, who's from Janesville, spoke Thursday at UW Milwaukee. Well, people here in Wisconsin are still in the dark without power after Wednesday night storms brought in freezing rain and layers of ice. Power lines in Kenosha, Racine, and Walworth counties were hit especially hard by ice and wind. We Energy says crews are out working to restore power as quickly as possible.
What's your message to them?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, we appreciate their patience and just know that we have crews who have been working since the ice came through, crews from out of state. This is incredible damage. Some lines, we're finding dozens of branches that are coming down. We're putting power back in and it's going right back out because another branch is falling.
Now, as of last night, We Energy says nearly 95% of customers have had their power restored. They expect all affected customers to have their power back on by noon today. Well, former Wisconsin Governor Tony Earl has died at the age of 86. Earl died after suffering a stroke earlier this week. He spent his remaining days in the hospital surrounded by family. According to a statement from Governor Tony Evers, Earl is survived by his 4 daughters and 11 grandchildren. Earl was the governor of Wisconsin from 1983 to 1987. Well, the suspect of Wednesday's shooting spree in Central Florida will be held in jail without bond. 19-year-old Keith Melvin Moses is charged with murder. Moses' alleged crime spree began when a friend saw him walking down the street and offered him a ride. Police say Moses fatally shot another passenger in that vehicle and a woman in her 20s. Hours later, police believe Moses returned to the scene and fired at a local TV crew covering the shooting. Spectrum 13 News reporter Dylan Lyons was killed in that shooting, and photographer Jesse Walden was critically injured. According to investigators, Moses then entered a nearby home and shot a woman and her 9-year-old daughter. That child died and the mother is in critical condition. Investigators are trying to determine the motive behind those attacks.